The Mysterious Origin of Fires, by James Scott. Coffee Break Collection, 23. Mysteries, Riddles and Conundrums. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Mysterious Origin of Fires. Outbreaks of fire are often most mysterious in their origin. We are frequently confronted with problems concerning the cause of fires in houses, factories and fields that are utterly baffling and insoluble. Yet in what simple ways we may be victimized, the examples given in this article afford most striking proof. A man may leave his house untenanted for a few moments, and almost before he has passed beyond sight of it, the flames will have broken out in the most bewildering manner. A haystack may catch fire and involve in suspicion the last person known to have been near it. Natural spontaneous combustion will often be responsible for such a crisis, and I have heard of one case in which a box of matches, unintentionally left by a haymaker in the middle of a stack, acted as the centre of a conflagration. In the cases now illustrated, the enemy was caught in the act, but in every example, had it not been discovered just in time, there would have been another mystery added to the long list, for who could have conjectured the curious origins as they are here set forth? It was my own experience to observe the suspicious movements of a reel of thread in this dangerous connection, and, indeed, the transaction suggested the preparation of this article. A newly obtained reel of linen thread had been placed on a mantel shelf thousands of people must be doing such a thing continually and I noticed that the springiness of the unfastened thread caused a mass of it to be raised above the reel, when it tumbled forward and gradually unwound its coils, lowering its waving extremity nearer and nearer to a coal fire, the draught of which sucked it towards the flame. A tiny spark was engendered, and this rose rather prettily along the glossy line until it reached the sharp edge of the mantel shelf, when it became extinguished. This danger was obliterated, but suppose that the shelf, as is often the case, had borne a fringe of some inflammable material. This would assuredly have ignited, and would probably have spread the flames over the entire room. It may be noted that the smoothness and springiness of a reel of linen thread is very different from the clinging surface of a reel of cotton thread. It is the simplest natural operation, when lighting a candle, to place the box of matches close at hand in the vicinity of the candlestick. The doing of this trifling act nearly resulted, one summer time, in a catastrophe. Every one must have seen how limp and helpless a candle will become on a warm summer's evening, and it was on account of this weakness in the candle that the danger arose. Little by little it drooped towards the slightly open box of safety matches, into which it at length plunged its flame, causing a sudden burst of fire, accentuated by the presence of the warm wax which had fallen from the inverted extremity. The table carried several odds and ends of the character generally to be found on a workman's kitchen table, and had the outbreak not been immediately extinguished, the whole place might soon have been alight, to the marvel of its inhabitants. A specimen of frustrated danger arising from a gas bracket may very appropriately come next. One could hardly foresee that in placing a child's woolen ball and bat on a shelf above a gas jet, a possibility was aroused of setting fire to the premises, although, when such a transaction as that is sketched in detail, extra careful people might be led to suspect that the idea of danger would have occurred to them. The gas bracket, however, might have been at right angles to the wall when the things were placed on the shelf, and then later on have been thoughtlessly pushed back by someone else. At any rate, the ball, under the impulse of a gust from an open window, was seen to roll off, first cannoning slightly against the wall, so receiving sufficient impetus to jerk it over the gas globe, into which it fell, with the result that falling pieces of fired wool were quickly being blown helter-skelter all over the apartment, where they might have inflicted extensive damage if they had remained unchecked in their flight. A scullery maid, or any one else for that matter, would not think twice about placing a box of matches on the ledge of a sink, even in the event of a lamp being situated at a lower level on a stool near by. Now, in the following case, the combination of circumstances was indeed remarkable. The waste pipe was stopped up, so that the water dripping from the tap slowly filled up the sink. When the water had risen to the level of the ledge it gracefully tilted the matchbox, which fell straight on to the top of the lamp chimney, shedding its fiery contents into the flare, and of course considerably endangering surrounding articles. Fortunately matters went no farther, but I am justified in supposing that, had they done so, all concerned would soon have been asking, "How did it start?" without having the remotest chance of the truth dawning upon their minds. Moths and flames are universally connected, yet few people suspect that danger could arise therefrom. The insects are of such frail structure that generally they get destroyed before it is possible for them to inflict injury, and it is hardly credible that the wings would ignite and retain the flame long enough to enable the moth to fly to its surroundings. That, however, is what occurred on the following occasion. The moth was a large one, and its wings must have been very dry, so that when it floundered through the flame it set fire to one wing and darted onto a curtain near by, which at once flared up. It is possible that many summer evening fires in the country could be attributed to a source of this kind. It is notorious that mysterious fires often arise at sunset in the hot months. In this case the adherent wax may have helped the wings to keep alight. The last of our examples is certainly the most extraordinary of them all. A box of lucifers had been thrown upon the mantel shelf, and an American clock evidently put in front of them at a later period, so close as to be in actual contact. Eventually the key drop on the back, during its slow revolutions, had managed effectually to pinch in and hold the matches tightly between itself and the shelf, and the continual pressure and friction on the heads resulted in their ignition, which soon extended to their companions. One might vainly try to repeat a performance successfully accomplished by chance. Everyone has seen or heard of haphazard occurrences which could never be repeated, however carefully attempted. Something sticks in a comical position when thrown, something else undergoes peculiar manoeuvres, but never again is it likely to occur, either by accident or design. End of The Mysterious Origin of Fires